This is what free rabbit food looks like. If you want to find out more, then keep watching. Hi, welcome to another holistic aqua farm video. My name is Anissa, and today we're talking about feeding a rabbit for free. Talking about forages, right? What forages you can harvest to feed your rabbits that isn't going to cost as much as buying commercial pellets. Alright, so as you can see, I'm on my own today. Jandel abandoned me. He abandoned me. So I'm gonna try to the possible questions that he might ask. I'm going to try to have that covered, even though Jandel is not here to ask the questions for you. I'm gonna try to answer them anyway. If I do miss any of those questions that you want answered, feel free to leave a comment, ask your questions in the comments, and we will respond to you as best as we could. Alright? So let's get into it. Alright, so when we talk about forages, a forage is basically any edible plant material or any edible part of a plant that can be grown for animals to eat. You can grow it for grazing animals such as goats and cows, or you can grow it to harvest and carry as cut and carry for animals like rabbits, for example. There are a variety of different types of forages. They will range from grasses, shrubs, grains, legumes that can be used, and legumes will be high in protein, so it's all that is pretty beneficial to your rabbits to get that extra protein in there. And it will vary based on where you are, what you use, and what you have available. The variety of forages that you can collect would vary based on your location. So people who live in the US, they talk a lot about using alfalfa and timothy as forages. People who live in Europe and Asia would use something else. In Trinidad, and I'm guessing in the Caribbean, you will more or less have similar forages that we use. And I have a few here. Now what I have here is what I have available to me. This is what I have where the rabbitry is. There's a lot more than this that could be fed. You would have access to other forages that you can use, and that's completely fine. You just find out what is safe to use, and you go ahead and you use what is safe for rabbits that you have access to in your area. Alright, so what we have here, first up, is balisay leaves. Right, this is what a leaf looks like, and it will be identified by the flower. This is the flower, and what you'll feed is the leaf. Now, I have not actually fed my rabbits balisay leaves before. I mean, I have it growing around me, but I've never used it. I haven't used it yet. I probably would try them eventually, because there's a lot growing in different spots. So, you know, I'll try it and see how they respond to it. But this is what the leaf looks like, and there are a lot of people who feed their rabbits this balisay leaves. Scientific name is Heliconia behi, I think it is. It's from the Heliconia family. Right, so that is an option, balisay. Another option we have here is Trichantera. Now it looks, everything here I harvested everything yesterday, so everything has been wilting for 24 hours, which is good, because it reduces the water content in the crops, so that your rabbits aren't consuming excess water to lead to diarrhea. And we covered why we want to avoid excess water in our last video. It will be linked in the cards at the end of this one, so you can get to take a look at it if you haven't seen it yet. So this is Trichantera. This is what Trichantera looks like after a 24-hour wilting. A lot of farmers grow these because it is not good, something that grows wild, so it's something that you have to propagate if you want to grow forage for your animals. It's very easy to grow. You get some cuttings, and you grow it. So a Trichantera cutting, this is what it will look like. It's one of the mature parts of the plant. You just basically, I just stick it in the ground. Once the ground is soft enough, I just stick it in. It will start producing roots, and it will grow. And in a few months' time, you would have some delicious Trichantera leaves to feed your rabbits. The stalk of the Trichantera also serves as good chewing material for rabbits. Because rabbit teeth continue to grow throughout their life, their teeth will tend to become overgrown. So the stalk of the trichantera, the more mature parts of it, it's a lot more woody, and by them chewing on that and biting into them, one, they're getting their nutrition from it, but they're also grinding down the teeth, which helps eliminate you having to go and cut, right? So it's very good for their dental health as well. This here is known as railway daisy. You identified based on these little white flowers. So the little white flower with a yellow center. It's very attractive to pollinators. Bees and butterflies love to pollinate these. So it's actually, if you grow crops or you like ornamentals, it's something that it'll be beneficial to have ornamentals, because it makes the place look pretty. And if you grow crops, and it's good to have some flowers around to attract pollinators, to help pollinate your crops. I think by now we all know how important pollinators are for farmers. Without them, we don't have food. So this is something that is good. And seeing that it will actually serve a dual purpose, because you're attracting pollinators and you can also feed the entire thing to your rabbits. They eat the entire thing, flowers included, right? Very easy to just pull out the flowers if you want it. Keep it to grow more, and you give them the entire thing, the leaves and the stalks, and they eat it. They enjoy these very much. I give these to them every once in a while. I'll give them some of these, and they enjoy the entire thing. Okay, so next up is some kudzu. Kudzu is probably one of the top known forages in Trinidad that we feed our rabbits. It's identified by, it's a vine, and it's identified by these so leaves are, this is what it looks like. You have a tree leaf system. Very easy to harvest, and it grows abundantly here. It is actually an invasive species. It's not native to Trinidad. It was brought here with the purpose of feeding, with the purpose of being used as forage. But you know how invasive species goes, so it tended to take over, and now it grows wild all over the place. So it's very easy to gather. You see it growing on the side of the road. You probably have some growing in the yard and probably don't recognize it. But now that you're dealing with rabbits, you have free food. Kudzu, right? It's a vine, very easy to pull out. It becomes difficult because it tends to grow up on trees and kill trees and stuff like that. So you know, you may have to cut it down if it grows in excess, but instead of just discarding it, feed it to your rabbits. Another interesting one that you may not be aware of is mango leaves. Rabbits can eat mango leaves. Now, in our last video, we spoke about the dangers of giving them fruits like mangoes in excess due to the high water and sugar content. But the leaves, however, you can't give them the leaves to eat, and they would enjoy this. If you are not aware, you can also feed them what we call in Trinidad bacano. I believe around the world it will be known as trumpet leaf, and it's used to make tea for if you have like fever and coughs and that kind of thing. But it's also good to feed your rabbits as forage. And bacano is something that also grows wild. At least where I am, up on this side, bacano grows wild all over the place. I usually trying to cut them down to get rid of them because they're always growing where I don't want them. What we call a weed. But when you do cut it down, leaves for your rabbits. This one, cane grass. Cane grass. Sure you didn't know that one, right? So here what? If it is you're enjoying the content, you're gaining some information, you're liking what you hear, you learn something new, hit the like button. Let YouTube know that you like what you're seeing. Also let us know that you like and you are enjoying what you're seeing in these videos, right? So this is cane grass. So the cane will grow at the end of, the cane stalk will grow at the end of this. You cut down, you enjoy your juicy cane, and you give your rabbits the leaves, so nothing goes to waste, right? Something else that you could, that also goes, this is coconut leaves. Yep, they could also eat coconut leaves. We also have some paragrass here. Paragrass, elephant grass, and any type of grasses along those lines are good for your rabbits. You could even see what I was talking about the kudzu, how it just grows up and stuff. This is kudzu tangled up on this. I usually let this wilt for 24 to 48 hours before I give it to them, just to avoid any excess water that may be in this stem. This one here is a banana leaf. It actually is kind of similar to the balize, right? But they could also eat banana leaves. They also eat the banana stalks as well too, the stems of the banana. So when you harvest a banana, you could keep the leaves, cut off the stems, and save it for your rabbits. I let the stems wilt for 48 hours before I give it to them, again to avoid the excess water that could possibly be in these stems. Alright, so the last one I have for you today is shadow benny. I love the smell of shadow benny. Alright, so in Trinidad we call this shadow benny or bandania. Other parts of the world will know it as cilantro. I think it's similar to cilantro, but it's called cilantro. Probably interchangeable with cilantro, something along those lines. But yeah, I give this to them every once in a while. Of course, I usually keep most of it for myself to use as seasoning in my food. But every once in a while, when I'm feeling generous, I give them some of this, some shadow benny or bandania leaves as well, right? There are a variety of different herbs that you could give them. Shadow benny is just one. There are things like parsley, dill, oregano. You can grow these things and give it to your rabbits as well too, and they would enjoy that. So it's a good idea if you have land space to grow a variety of forages. Now, feeding your rabbits for free, you have all of this available that you can feed. You don't have to spend money growing commercial. You don't have to spend money to buy commercial feed, which is great. That's always a benefit. But the downside is with trying to feed forage only, it becomes very difficult if you don't have a large quantity of land, or if it is you have a large herd of rabbits. If you have a large herd of rabbits, it becomes difficult to feed grass only in terms of having the land space to grow the forages and the amount of labor that it will take to harvest the forage to carry for your rabbits. So that is something you'll want to look at. So while it's a good idea to feed them a high forage diet, you have to look at it in terms of the land space you have available and the labor that you'll have to put out to give them a diet high in forages. You can look into probably alternating days. You give them forages on alternating days. If you do it 3 times for the week, twice for the week, depending on how much land you have, it may only end up being once for the week. But it's a good idea to give them a large quantity of forages and a nice variety of forages that they can eat. Another good idea is as well to kind of grow crops that could serve multiple purposes. What I mean by that is, for example, with the banana leaves or plantain leaves for that matter, you grow the fruit, you grow the plant to harvest the fruit, the banana or the plantain. And when you harvest that crop, you cut the leaves, you cut the stem of it, and you use that to feed your rabbits. And therefore, that one crop has served 2 purposes: human consumption as well as serving food for your animals. It's the same thing with the coconut leaves, because you'll be eating the coconut yourself. The leaves, you give them the leaves of the coconut, and you can have it every once in a while. You can cut some coconut leaves to give them, and without damaging your tree. Mango leaves is another multi-purpose forage, because we are eating the fruit mainly, and the leaves we give in to the animals. It's not going to hurt the tree by harvesting some mango leaves every once in a while, right? Of course you can give them the fruit, but we already covered that, right? So it's a good idea to grow some stuff that you can eat as well as give to your animals. There are a number of crops that you can grow as well to give to your rabbits. Some of these include things like beets. You can grow the beets and eat the beets yourself and give the rabbit the beet greens. Now you can eat the beet greens yourself if you like, right? It's very nutritious, very delicious. But if you like, you can save the beetroot for yourself and give them the beet greens. You can do the same with radishes. You grow some radishes and give them the greens you eat, or you give them some of the greens and keep the root for yourself. Same thing with carrots, you give them the carrot greens and you eat the carrots yourself. Try to avoid giving them the carrots due to the high sugar content in the fruit, right? Some other crops that will also serve multi-purpose would be things like legumes, pigeon peas. So for the later half of the year, we tend to grow pigeon peas as a traditional thing here in Trinidad. And you harvest the pigeon peas. Now they can't eat the peas fine, but you can keep the peas for yourself, and the leaves, the pods of the pigeon peas, you can save it and give it to your rabbits as well too. So by growing pigeon peas, multi-purpose crop, you feed yourself, you feed your family, you feed the country, and you feed your rabbits. You can, well, we also spoke about the banana and coconut leaves as well too. So all these things serve a multiple purpose. So you can choose to grow forages that are specific for feeding your rabbits, like trichantera or Kudzu, for example. But something that will be of great benefit if you get more than one purpose out of it: plant some bananas, plant some beets, plant some carrots. If you have space, you could grow some coconut trees, grow some cane, and you have delicious fruits which are nutritious to you and also provide some fiber to your rabbits. Now a lot of these are will mainly be fiber, like coconut leaves, for example. This is mainly to add fiber into your rabbit's diet. But things like the banana leaves will also add fiber. But the stem of the banana stem it's high in fiber, but it also has a lot of nutrition in that stem. They will still get some potassium and vitamins and stuff from eating the stem alone too. Again, be careful with it. It has a high water content. Make sure you wilt it down and let some of that water come out before you give it to your rabbits. Let us know what you feed your rabbits. What do you have growing around you that you use as forage for your animals? And let us know, educate us, we could learn some more about what other people are using around the world. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. You'll also let us know that you like what we see, that